Don't know. Good evening, ladies and gents. Another evening down the garage, and it is a very, very cold evening this evening. I have got the heater on, but it's struggling a little bit to keep up. I think it's about -1 outside, which not about that. That's a bit too cold for me. But that is obviously why I've got my hood up like a complete idiot tonight. Not a fashion statement. It's just keeping me warm. Anyway, right, as you have just seen now. We were down here the other day. I came down on a Saturday. I actually forgot to bring the camera with me because I'm an idiot. But we did get the car to start making some boost, as you just saw. It actually made a huge, great big total of 5.1 pounds of boost. Get that to focus. 5.1 PSI it made of boost. And it made that at 6,462 RPM. Anyway, it made boost. It revved all the way to 6,500 RPM, which previously it was crashing at 3.5, and I couldn't get it to rev through that ceiling. Got that problem sorted. Turned out just to be, there's a few issues in the map, and there were some other bits and pieces that had to be amended, but we got that issue sorted. It now revs all the way through to the limiter, which I was probably pushing my luck a bit, bouncing it off the limiter when I never really actually bounced it off the limiter, but we got very close. Anyway, probably pushing my luck, but as you've just seen, it made boost. Happy days, happy man. Then it all went very wrong, hence why that last clip ended quite quickly, and you saw a load of sparks fly out of the engine here somewhere up there, and we very quickly found the issue with why I was finding pieces of metal shaved on the top of here. I couldn't work that out for the life of me, but turns out on this pulley down here there's a little bolt on the back of the pulley just down here, and that nut or that bolt has backed out into the back of the water pump pulley, so it is it's catching on the pulley. It's stopping the pulley from moving around, as you can see. So and it actually feels like the pulley might actually be out of square, which is not good. So that's what we're going to start with tonight. That's going to be the first job, and then we're just going to crack on with a whole host of other little bits and pieces that need to be sorted in this video. We're going to do the indicators in this video on the front. We are going to do the fog light in this video. I don't actually think the fog light is on here. We're going to do the fog light. We're going to do the wipers. We are going to do the reverse switch on a gearbox, and we are going to do the... I'm going to look at trying to put the bonnet back on, is what I'm going to try and look at doing. So that's what we're going to crack on with. Enough waffling from me. Let's get that pulley out, see what the matter is. Right, last bolt coming out. A pain in the ass to get off these, because obviously as you undo them it just wants to spin the pulley around. But good little trick there is to I get a file and then wedge a file between there and there, because the file is obviously rough. It binds on the pulley and allows you to take it off. The other problem is getting that out of there, which I think I might have just about done. Thankfully, yeah, that's off of there. You can see trying to see if my water pump pulley is still okay. It certainly isn't spinning very freely, so I don't know if that means I've ruined the water pump or not. It's a brand new water pump, so it should have been alright, but you can see the edge of this is all chewed up all around there. Little bits, flakes of metal sitting in there. You can see flakes of metal on the inside, and that is all because of down here at the very bottom here. You can see, I don't know what to say, you can see, I don't know how well you can see, this little nut here is backed out into the back of it, and has ruined it. In actual fact, it's backed out so much it's nice and loose, which should make it easy enough for me to get out, or at least that's what I'm kind of hoping, because it looks to me like
the whole of the top of it has come off. Anyway, right, let me get that screw out and we'll see what we got left. Nasty. So yeah, that's what happened with that. So looking at this, obviously you can see how much material has been ground off of that. That was obviously what was catching all along, but wasn't making any sparks obviously until it got to the point where it was properly wedged in there. And the reason for this backing out, because I was trying to work out how it backed out, but I think having looked at this, the belt, there's a big belt mark all along here. Sorry, just there, there's a big belt mark all up there. So I think what's happened is as the belt's come round here onto the pulley, the belt, in actual fact you can see on the edge of this belt there's like a line, there's like a gash all up the edge of it. So I think that belt has run against the edge of the nut, the edge of the bolt, and started winding it out as it's round wound. So what I'm going to do, I've got some more machine screws, but I've actually got some pan heads, some countersunk ones instead of a pan head in, I think, this box here. Let's have a look. Yep, in this box here. So my plan is to replace it with a pan head, because that will sit all the way in and sit flush, as opposed to this one that will sit proud, if you see what I'm showing you there. So that is the plan. Cut this down, screw this on, bolt it all back together, start her up, see what happens.
A few moments later.
Okay, right, fiddly as anything, but it's all back in there now. Plenty of clearance on that bolt at the back. I've moved the belt from the back two to the front two on the ribs, so hopefully that'll keep it a bit further away and give us plenty of clearance underneath on that bolt and everything there. So I guess the only thing to do now is quickly start her up and see if it sprays sparks everywhere and go from there. Oh yeah, alright, you can hold that.
Drag her up, what? Some sparkage.
Right. Right.
Yeah, bud.
Let's give her a go.
Still on. That's a good sign. Oh. Getting any more, bud?
That'll look good if you ask me. Right, let's try it again. The old start tune's a bit iffy. Of course, you won't open that door up.
Not all the way though, no?
No. Why is it doing that?
Gas the fuck out. Oh.
Just stalling after a couple of minutes every time. I don't know what's doing that.
She's eyes on him like a pro now.
Oh, right.
Bit rich.
Bit rich. There we go, right, okay, so that's that problem solved. I have to leave that door open a bit. It's a bit cold start enrichment and all that. Right, okay, so that's that bit done. Next job is going to be the alternator. So the alternator is all in and working. Well, I say all in and working. It's all in and bolted up and got a belt around it and all that good stuff. But it doesn't have a 12 volt reference. So the voltage regulator doesn't know what the voltage is, so it won't come on and actually start charging. So the next thing on the list is going to be to roll the car backwards a bit, so I've got a bit of space, and get us a little 12 volt reference. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do, it's a bit sketchy, but I'm just going to piggyback off of the main starter wire with a 12 volt reference from there, and hopefully that should be alright, rather than have to run one from inside the car and all the way back round and hopefully that'll get the alternator teased up and starting. So yeah, let's do that next. Okay, right, basically what I've got, if you guys can see down here, is I've just I want to get the light in the right place, just literally put a ring terminal on the positive there, and just loop that on a bit of red wire for now onto the live of the plug, and then the other one's ignition. That's an optional spade. So hopefully when we start it up now, I should get 14 volts or there or thereabouts on the starter. God, there's a bit of oil leaking down there, isn't there? Probably need to sort that out at some point, really, to be honest, but nah, it'll do. Right, should we start her up, see what happens? What are we doing for time? Pissing the neighbours off, boy. There we go, we're alright, plenty of time. Half eight. Stop making noise by 9, we should be good. Right, mind the Rona. Let's not lose the Rona.
Yeah, fuck that.
That'll fall off. You'll be sad. Right. Let me slide myself in here. Okay. Connect the live terminal up. Or the negative, sorry. Connect that up. Bash that on, and then obviously my digital dash here has got a gauge on it anyway, so it shows me the voltage, so it should be good. So, right, let's give this a go then, see what we've got. Better, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have a bit of that. Alternator's working. Cool. Right, see then. Have we already ticked the alternator off? Alternator, yeah, we've already ticked it off. Cool, right. That's the alternator in and working. That's that bit repaired. What should we do next on the list? Reverse switch, let's have a look at that next. That's actually going to be a really big pain in the ass to do, because the reverse switch is on the back of the gearbox behind the turbo and all that nonsense, so that could be a difficult one. Right, let's give it a go. Right, when they designed these Mark 1 Fiestas with 6-speed gearboxes from the factory, what they did was very cleverly make sure that you can access the reverse switch through the little hole here for the shifter. So I can get into there really easy. I thought it was going to be a nightmare, but it's actually really easy. Just get in there, wind it out. Although to be fair, it's got gearbox on it, so I might get a load of oil out. Take that out, get it repaired, because I snapped the end off of it. Get it all repaired up, put it on a little plug, and away we go. Hopefully we should also have then a working reverse light, and that'll be the third little job ticked off the list tonight. I've not even finished my first beer yet. That's good progress. Right. Right, and there we have it. What I've done is I've just put 2 little bullet connectors in there for now, because obviously this switch is all smashed up, so we just soldered some cables on the pins, put 2 bullet connectors in there for the time being. I've just just taped it up to hold them in place, and then I'm going to screw this back in, feed this cable through the bulkhead, and then connect it up underneath there where it needs to be connected up, and we should have a reverse light switch. So yeah, right, let's get it screwed in, see where we're at. Okay, right, oh hang on, let me quickly turn the radio off. copyright infringement and all that noise. Right, okay, so, yeah, Sam, you have that. We have got the wire in, it's all bolted up, so in theory, we've got to bang it in reverse. Anyway, she's on. Lovely job. Right, reverse switch. Let me get my pen. There's my pen, there it is. Reverse switch. Bam, it's done. Okay, right. So we've done the alternator, we've fixed that. We've done the reverse switch. What's next on the list? Windscreen wipers for the front of the car. Let's do that next. Sick. Right, let me get that out of the box, and I'll see you in a minute.
72 hours later.
Okay, right. We've got the wiper motor all bolted up off camera there. That's all sorted now. All connected up underneath. The next thing to do is put the wiper blades on. Wiper arms, sorry. Now previously I was using these wiper arms over here somewhere. Yeah, previously I was using these, which are actually a Vauxhall Corsa B wiper arm that I took apart, cut down and reimagined into something usable for the Fiesta because I didn't have any at the time. However, I did give Shane Baker a shout again the other day, said look, need 2 new wiper arms. And as always, he came through within a couple of days. So I've got inside here 2 used wiper arms. He does sell these at a very reasonable price. Also sells these fully powder coated, cleaned, painted, powder coated. Also very reasonable price. But I got these just second hand, not powder coated, not painted. Because what I might do in the future is actually get them done up as the same colour as the engine bay. But for now, I just need to tick that bit off the list so that it's sort of roadworthy for when it goes to the MOT. So for now, and to be honest with you, second hand, they're still in really quite good condition, to be honest with you. You can see there's a little bit of faded on them, but very, very impressed as always. So yeah, up there, Shane Baker parts, link in the description below for all your Mark 1 and Mark 2 Fiesta needs. Right, let's bolt these up. They are just a 13mm nut, which so what I'm going to do actually first is I'm going to wrap some, I haven't got wiper blades, so I'm going to wrap some bubble wrap around those because I don't want to put them on and then scratch my window. That would be upsetting, wouldn't it? Right, let me get them bubble wrapped and then we'll bolt them on. Okay, right. Got the ends all bubble wrapped up so I don't destroy my windscreen. Pop you guys there like that. Just adjust this mount like that, and quite simply it's a 13mm nut to bolt these on. I've got a mixed match of nuts here actually. I'll have to try and find some slightly better ones. Right, let's get the angle about right. I think it's probably about there. Okay, there's one on. Sort of thing about there. This one has actually got a little bit of copper tube that I wedged on there years ago in order to get them other ones to fit, so I need to try and get that off first, which could be interesting. There we go, came straight off. There we go. It was just because the wipers that I used previously were different. I got a little piece of copper and just made a bush out of it so that they would actually grip and turn. But don't need that anymore because we've got the proper wipers for a Mark 1 Fiesta. Right. Wonderful, right, they are on. Now, in theory, if I flick the ignition on, you should get some windscreen wipers that work. I'll just reposition you guys there so you can see what's going on. Right, let's give them a test. Battery up, ignition is on, wipers on. that is another thing ticked off the list. So, well, strictly speaking, I still need wiper blades because little bits of bubble wrap there aren't going to quite do the job, but I am going to tick it off the list anyway. So let's have a little look here what we've got. Wipers front, tick, they're done, happy days. Rear anti-roll bar mounts, let's do that next, because once again Mr. Shane Baker, SB Parts, has come up with the goods in this tube here. We've also got, and these are brand new, he does brand new laser cut, powder coated anti-roll bar mounts. So out, show you what we got. Just these little P-shaped anti-roll bar mounts. What I did have on the car, when I got the car, it didn't have any on. So to get it through an MOT, I actually made some out of steel, and they're not the best made things, and they've had a bit of wear and tear on them. They were a bit too skinny and they kind of bent with use, but they did their job for the time being. But for now, you know, they can go over there. You've got some nice shiny new ones to go on. What I'm actually going to do is take the anti-roll bar off and give it a quick spray of matte black. So yeah, let's quickly get that whipped off, painted up, and that'll be another thing ticked off the list. Okay, right, just like that. Didn't film it because it's only 2 nuts and bolts basically. Jacked up, wheels off, and then it's just removed this bolt here, which they are still the old crusty horrible bolts. So when this goes back on, of course, I believe it's in one of those boxes there actually, we will be refitting it with the rear bolts supplied by Shane Baker as well, for the rear anti-roll bar. The other thing that I'm going to look to do, having thought about it whilst it was off, Shane does a rose joint kit for these, so it basically replaces these shackles, these rubber bushes and shackles with rose joints. Seeing that the rest of everything else on the back of the car, all the link rods and the panhard there are all rose jointed anyway, I think I might as well get these rose jointed while they're off. So I'm going to give this a real quick clean up, because as you can see, it's not the prettiest. Not going to go mad with it. I'm just going to sort of give it a once over, give it a spray of back paint just to make it look a little bit more respectable than it is, and go from there. I mean, it's not the stiffest anti-roll bar. I do wonder at some point whether I might buy a much thicker piece of steel and try and make a much stronger, thicker, harder anti-roll bar. But for now, I'm going to strip this down, get it painted, and hang it up there somewhere, let it dry, and we'll crack on with a few other little jobs whilst we're waiting. Okay, right, cleaned up, little coat of primer on there. As you can see, I'll put another coat on there in a minute, give it time for that to go off a little bit. Just Halford's primer out the can. So yeah, gonna let that go off for a minute. The other thing we are doing tonight, apart from dying from paint fumes, because I don't want to open the doors because it's cold outside, the other thing that we can crack on with tonight whilst we're waiting for that to dry is in this little package here. Let's get the camera set up, hang on. Not like that, it's going to fall off. That's it, it's in this little package here. I have got an AN10 fitting. I've got a 1/8 adapter, something like that, to go into my breather. I'll turn an AN10 to a -10, and then I've got a meter of -10 line. So we're going to get that installed on the front of the engine, and then look at options for a breather tank. Got a few ideas in my head, but we'll go over what we've got. I've got some stuff here that I could use. The better idea is me, I've got to buy something new, so we'll go from there. But yeah, let's get this in and that line on, and see where we go from there. Right, well, that was eventful, painful, very difficult and frustrating. Got so wound up that I took my jumper off because I was getting a bit hot-headed. Anyway, right, it's in, and I did try to film it, but it's so difficult to see and get to that I just gave up in the end. But basically, if I can try and shine the light, you can see there it is down there, and it just comes up. This comes up round the block there. It's currently sticking out there. That is absolutely 100% going to need some foil heat wrap on it, like the turbo drainer's got, because I'm under no impression that's going to last 5 minutes on a pull without getting melted. So it's not actually touching the exhaust, to be fair. It is, there's about a finger's width between there, but it's just not worth the risk, is it? So basically I've got that coming up round there, comes across the top there quite neatly, actually fits between the water temperature sensor and everything. What I'm thinking is I can get a little P-clip and P-clip it to the cover there to hold it in place. And then this end has got to go somewhere. And this is where I've got a few options, and I think you guys will have to give us a bit of your opinion on this. I have got this catch tank. It's 2 inlets, breather on the top, and I can remove that and put a drain back into the sump if I want to. Downside is it's cylindrical and round and tall. Disclaimer, that's not my bracket, and that's not my welding. My welding's not great, but it's better than that. Anyway, I guess the option here really is that if it goes in there, it kind of would mount somewhere here. I think I'd probably make a bracket up that fits off the edge of there. Or I mean, no, well, it might actually hit the, I'd have to see if that would hit the gear linkage. You can see the gear levers there, but maybe make up some sort of bracket on there. Might just about cover, should be all right clearance wise on the bonnet. And then if I pop you up there, just try and make this look somewhat reasonable. Hang on, there we go. So that would kind of mount there somewhere on some sort of bracket, and I guess then I'll just bring my hose round onto there. The second hose would come off of the breather there into there. Probably actually wouldn't look too bad, in all fairness. It's maybe not a bad idea. I mean, I've just said obviously I'm going to ask your opinions, but I'm actually I think I've convinced myself that might work. I need to make up a slightly better bracket so that it actually sits nicely, but that might work actually in that space, just mounted off the shock tower there. It's not hitting anything. Not a bad idea that actually. I might look at that. Let's see if I can make a better bracket, mount it up, and then we'll see what we think of it after that, shall we? Right, let's make a bracket. Okay, wouldn't be a little red Fiesta video without a technical glitch. Time lapse just cut off, bam, because the camera ran out of battery and I didn't actually, excuse me, not COVID, I did a test. And I didn't realise that it'd run out of battery until after I'd completely finished making it. So we'll just show you it basically. It's nothing fancy. I need to just finesse this bracket a little bit, and then I need to paint this bit. Obviously this is all chrome plated, so it will be absolutely fine, but this here is obviously just mild steel, so it'll rust like anything. So I'm just going to paint that bit. I'll kind of try and mask that off a bit and paint it up to make it blend in, but it's fairly rigid. And then essentially all I'm going to do is kind of, that one's going to go in there, I think. Or I'm trying to avoid getting it too close to the turbo because I don't want to melt it. Ideally I could have done with that outlet being a bit further around the back, but I didn't want to have that outlet pushing into there, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think I'm going to sort of offer that up in that sort of position there, and then I I've got the breather on there that I need to find some way of hooking in, but I have actually only got this much AN10 line, so I might have to buy another meter of AN10 line to do that one, because I'd rather it all be in AN10 and actually look alright. Although, to be fair, this one at the moment, breathing to atmosphere isn't too bad. I mean, it's a heavy breather. It's probably not the best bottom end in the world, and it is about to see boost, so it's kind of got a limited life anyway. But it's a heavy breather, but it's not spitting oil or anything out of there. That bottom one was the problem, because it is chucking oil out. And if any of you ever taken the bottom end of these apart, the centre sort of counterweight on the crankshaft sits directly in front of that, so as it spins round, it's just literally flicking oil at the breather, which is why so much comes out when you haven't got anything on there. But yeah, right, I'm going to cut that down, get Jubilee on there. I've got a little filter somewhere back there to go on there. Excuse me. And that'll be another job little ticked off the list. It's actually not on the list, so I'm going to have to add it to the list just so that we can cross it off. And then once I've done that, the anti-roll bar is kind of over here. It's touch dry now, so that'll get a coat of black on top of it. And I just realised I can't actually bolt that back up, even if it does dry tonight, because I've only got one bush and I've run out of bushes. So I will have to, I'll get some poly bush ones of those ordered up to go on the back. But right, stop waffling, cut the pipe, hook it up, and see you guys in a second. Okay, right. We now have, to excuse the voice, my throat is quite sore. Excuse me. Right, we now have breather filter mounted. Well, I say mounted. I found it, but it doesn't. It's not the right size. I need to get a little bit of rubber hose just to make it fit. But I've got my line sort of in position. I cut it long on this end so that it would hold its form, and then by the time we get a little hook on there, like I said, a little P-clip, that'll hold that real nice and sort of out the way of everything too hot. I've just wedged this on there to sort of see where my hose is going to run, and if I'm honest, I really like the way that bends around like that. I don't really want to have to bend it round here and do some weird thing to get it onto that, so I'm either going to cut that off and re-weld it on down here so that the two of them can just go in above each other, or if I can try and get maybe a bend, get a little bend 90 degree so that it can go sort of round there and on at a 90 degree angle instead. Maybe that's what I'll do. But yeah, for the catch can I had laying around that I wasn't actually planning on using, and a little scrap of metal I made the bracket out of, and existing bolt hole and everything, grand total of £0. I'm quite happy with that. It is going to clear the bonnet, I think. So yeah, bonus on that front as well. I just need to get some. I do need to get some heat shrink. Some heat shielding for that, because if that's not, it's just gonna. I know the manifold's got turbo wrap and that on it, but it's just gonna melt, and nobody wants that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I did draw on the wall, catch, can and breather, and I have crossed it off, just because it's another one of those little jobs that's now out of the way. My plan was now to look at the maybe offering the bonnet back up and seeing how that all sits, but it's outside, it's soaking wet, it's freezing cold, so I've just left it out there for tonight, and we'll do that in the next video. Plus I need to order some I want to order some proper aero catches for it, and sort something out on that front. We also need to do something with the bonnet because it looks really shitty. I wasn't going to reuse that bonnet, in all fairness. I was just going to leave it out there as scrap, basically, because we've cut it up and dented it and dinged it and drilled holes in it and all sorts. And I was just going to get a nice carbon fibre bonnet, but financially that is not in the budget for an awful long time, and spending 500-600 quid on a carbon fibre bonnet when I could spend that 500-600 quid on, for example, flywheel and clutch, or rods and pistons, or, you know, it could just be better. That sort of money could be better spent elsewhere in the grand scheme of things. So we're going to see what we can do with the bonnet. If it's really not savable, then I'll go and buy a new bonnet. Obviously I can get a second-hand steel one for probably 60 odd quid, which you know, I'm not averse to. I'm quite happy to go and pay that sort of money for a bonnet, but as soon as it's out there and it's only going to scrap, I might as well see if we can be creative with it and bring something back to life on that front. So maybe we'll do that on the next video. Just to give you guys an update, there's Mark II Steve's cover being dealt with still. Ignore that, that'll be in another video. But I've now got the rear anti-roll bar all painted up in matte black there, so I'm just going to let that dry, I have just ordered, literally just ordered some. I've literally just ordered some Flowflex bushes. I was going to get the Pulley bush ones, like the nice purple, expensive ones, but the Flowflex ones are $12.99, and I'm not exactly flush this close to Christmas, so they'll do, I reckon. They're not a massively important bush, I don't think, under there. And like I say, I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep this for. I might come up with some sort of solution, or buy the Fiesta, not the Fiesta Centre ones, or buy the the ones that you can get from Outlaw Motorsport, or do something with the rear anti-roll bar at some point. So for now, that will do. I was considering putting these bushes back on there, but these are proper knackered, so I will more than likely have to do something with those. Like I said, I think Shane's kit's only like 25 quid or something, you know, stupidly reasonable on that front, you know, just to replace these. Basically it's 2 rose joints with a bit in the middle. I mean, I could probably go and buy the rose joint kit and make one myself, but for the sort of money Shane's offering them for, it's just easier, quicker just to go and buy those. So yeah, basically that's going to be it for this video. I was hoping to get the rear fog light ticked off in this video, and the front indicators ticked off the list in this video. However, I ordered them 2 weeks ago. They still haven't turned up. They've claimed that Royal Mail have lost them, but if I'm honest, I reckon they're probably still somewhere between China and here, and they just have lied about having them in stock in the UK or something along those lines. That's usually the excuse they come up with, isn't it? So yeah, on the next video we'll be doing a number of other little small things ticked off to get ticked off our lists. Oh, carpet. I did find I've got a brown carpet in the loft, so I might take that out and jet wash it and see what it looks like in there. Might just make it a little bit more appealing and deaden some of the noise, because it is extremely loud in the car. It's actually louder in the car with the pumps and everything rattling away than it is outside the car with the nice exhaust on now. So so yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.